Hello and welcome to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar. In this video we'll be answering the question, what is an intransitive verb? An intransitive verb is an action verb without a direct object. Let me show you. To hide from the midday heat, the dogs hide in the shade of the streets. So in that sentence, the intransitive verb is hide. It's an action verb, but there's no actual recipient of that action, except the dog. And that's not a direct object because it's the subject of the sentence. In the summertime, Kevin plays loud music from his car. In that sentence, the verb plays is the intransitive verb. We have no reference in this sentence of the recipient of the noise from his car. So just to clarify, an intransitive verb never has a direct recipient or receiver of the action of the sentence. So what I want you to do now is consider with each of these 4 sentences whether the sentence contains a transitive or intransitive verb. Hit pause if you need thinking time. So, how did you get on? What did you find? Daljit visited the supermarket. The action of the sentence is Daljit, who visited the supermarket. The direct object is the supermarket itself, because that's where Daljit went. Oh dear, Ricky cried that day alone. Cried is an intransitive verb in that sentence because we don't know who the direct recipient or the direct object is in that sentence. It's just Ricky who cried. No one else was affected. Hugh kicked the ball. The transitive verb is kicked here because that's the action of the sentence. The direct object is the ball because that's the thing that Hugh kicked. It had an impact on the ball when Hugh kicked it. And finally, a bit disgusting really, Nina coughed everywhere. Ugh. That's an intransitive verb. Unfortunately, we don't know all the recipients of the virus or germs that she's spreading everywhere. Because there's no direct object, it's an intransitive verb. Now it's your turn. For each of the 5 sentences, I want you to identify if you're dealing with an intransitive verb in the sentence. If so, label it, and if not, I'd like you to identify what it could be. Hit pause if you need thinking time. So, we left the party all together. Intransitive means there's no direct object. Nobody receives anything or is referred to after the verb left. So yes, this is an intransitive verb. Nora always eats before going to school. Eats is also an intransitive verb. No one else is affected by this except Nora, and she's already been mentioned in this sentence, so it's definitely an intransitive verb. They sang to Goffran when he won. They sang to him, that's an action, and that had a direct impact on Goffran when he heard it, no doubt. It's a transitive verb because it's an action verb, and the direct object is Goffran because they sang to him. So no, it is not intransitive, it is transitive. You listen, my dear. When someone says you listen, it's intransitive. There's no direct object in relation to that. They might be talking to you, but you listening changes nothing to their sentence. So, yes, It is an intransitive verb because there is no direct object in the sentence. And finally, we shouted at the referee. When I shout, that's an action. And that's a transitive verb because the direct object of my shouting is the referee. That is the direct object. So no, in this instance, we are not dealing with an intransitive verb. The big thing to remember is that an intransitive verb has no direct object. That means there's no receiver of the action that is happening in the sentence. That might be because the object already mentioned is the subject of the sentence, as we see with number 2. Nora, she's the subject of the sentence, and so the verb refers to what she does. It doesn't refer to anyone separate or different. It's important that we know about intransitive verbs because they give us more information of who else might be involved and receiving the response to the action, as we see with a transitive verb, or in these cases, we understand who the subject of the sentence is and how the action just revolves around them, their emotions and their world. That is the focus of the intransitive verb. Why not subscribe to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar for all things English, literary and grammatical?